Since hitting the scene decades ago, the Pokémon series has never been shy about branching off from the main entries. The newest addition to the Mystery Dungeon series, Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, is a remake of the 2006 games with some new upgrades like a great new visual style, enhanced music, and improved story presentation. Although it adds some nice changes, it fails to address many of the problems found in its 2006 counterparts. The most notable feature is the new art style. The once pixelated Pokémon from the Game Boy Advance and DS games have been replaced by a wonderful watercolor-inspired aesthetic. The updated music also sounds nice, but isn't nearly as drastic as the visuals. Additionally, there are some other small changes like auto-saving and an increased team size, but nothing too substantial. Unlike many Pokémon games where you play as a young trainer, in Mystery Dungeon, you play as an actual Pokémon. When you first boot up the game, you take a personality quiz that attempts to match you with a Pokémon based on your answers. However, if you get paired with one you'd rather not play as, you can simply pick your favorite. There's a decent number to choose from, including classic starters Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, to fan favorites like Pikachu and Psyduck. You also choose a Pokémon to act as your partner, who plays a large role throughout the adventure. The story is quite different from most games in the franchise. One day you wake up as a Pokémon with no memory of who you were or how you changed. Here you meet your future partner and best friend. After teaming up to help another Pokémon, you officially become a rescue team and spend the rest of the game helping those in need and uncovering bits and pieces of your past. The first half of the story is pretty slow, but does a decent job of introducing the other Pokémon in your community. Thankfully, things pick up in the second half and remain intriguing enough until the end. As the name implies, this is a dungeon crawler. You explore procedurally generated labyrinths, collect items, dodge traps, and fight Pokémon. You can also recruit new teammates by defeating them in battle or feeding apples to specific Pokémon. Of course, battles play a large role. Encounters are still turn-based, but actions are tied to grid-based movement. Essentially, every square you cover on the field acts as a turn, so if you move during a fight, enemies will then move after you. It can be interesting at times since positioning can mean the difference between victory and defeat, but most of the enemies are pushovers, so you rarely feel like you're being punished for bad positioning. Things do eventually get more challenging, but not until the very end of the main campaign. Pokémon still have the abilities you've come to expect, along with type advantages and disadvantages. Each Pokémon can have up to 4 abilities at a time and can learn new ones by leveling up and forgetting old ones. You can also learn new moves from CDs if you happen to come across any. Though the dungeon layouts are random, this doesn't make them any less predictable. Just about every dungeon feels the same, each made up of tight hallways and large rooms with nothing to them. There are attempts to keep things fresh with different environments like a cave or a forest, but these only serve as a temporary distraction from the monotony of going through each floor. Combat also brings exploration to a crawl and often boils down to simply mashing the A button to move on as quickly as possible. Thankfully, items and enemies are clearly labeled on the map at all times, making it easier to plan your route for each floor. There's an auto-explore mode you can enable with the press of a button that takes control of your Pokémon. This is great and can definitely help alleviate dungeon burnout, but you still need to fight manually. There's also a hunger meter that slowly drains over time, requiring you to eat food periodically, but it's never much of a problem. For a game all about exploring dungeons, it's a shame that the key component feels so mundane. Moving through each floor can feel like a slog, and we found ourselves zoning out on more than one occasion. Outside of dungeons, you spend most of your time in town. Here, Pokémon offer a wide variety of services like a bank and an item shop. There's also a dojo where you can train, but it just amounts to going through a dungeon by yourself. The most notable character, though, is the Wigglytuff, who you can pay to open new Pokémon camps. These essentially act as storage for the Pokémon you've bonded with, and each Pokémon can only be housed in a specific camp. There are many cheap ones to start with, but for endgame Pokémon, you need to put up some serious cash. It's a simple system, but it does provide some incentive to save money. As a rescue team, you pick up requests throughout your journey, made up of simple tasks like rescuing a Pokémon or bringing them an item. Each request also has a difficulty ranking and a reward tied to it. They're not very exciting, but at least you can knock out more than one in a single run. There's also an online feature where you can rescue other players' Pokémon that fainted in a dungeon to receive items. It's a small touch, but it ties in nicely with the theme of the game. One of the most impressive things about Rescue Team DX is its substantial postgame. After the credits roll, you unlock several features like new dungeons and story missions. You can evolve your Pokémon and take on and recruit legendaries. Though the main game is more than enough, it's still appreciated that there's so much extra content to tackle for players who want to continue. Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX is a decent remake that nicely updates its presentation, but fails to improve upon its most prominent aspects. Exploring dungeons and battling should be standout features that excite and motivate you, but it quickly becomes a mundane routine. If you're a big Pokémon fan, you may find enough enjoyment out of recruiting new Pokémon and building up your rescue team. But if you're looking for more beyond the Pokémon license, this Mystery Dungeon may not offer enough to keep you engaged. Easy Allies reviews are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows.